Hey guys, so wow, we're just coming to you today. We're going to talk about dads in recovery, right? It seems that most of the men that I've talked to over the last year or so, this whole idea of being a father, being a dad in recovery, there's a couple of things that stand out. And one is that everybody, almost every man says, this is the most important job. It really is important. And they say that, this is the most important job. And I'm like, great, that's super. So have you taken any courses or have you asked for any help? And no, um, it says no. It's just generally no, they haven't. What do you mean you haven't asked for help? Well, um, most of us think that we're just supposed to know how it is that we're supposed to be as dads in recovery. We're like, okay, I know how to be a dad. And well, where did you learn how to be a dad? Well, from my dad. How are things with you and your dad? Well, I hate that bastard. you know, he was a shitty dad. And now that's not the case always, but that's happened a lot. A lot of men that I've interviewed and I've talked to, dozens and dozens and dozens, if not uh, hundreds of men over the last several months about their relationships with their kids, their relationships with the mothers of their kids, their relationships with their own dads, and many of them are estranged from their own fathers, or they didn't know their own dads, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm qualified to be a dad, and no, I haven't taken any real training, and well, actually, the truth is, I I only get to see my kids on the weekends, or because the relationship with the mother of their children didn't, kind of work out the way that they had imagined, and happens over and over again that when we get into a relationship, we're kind of needy and we oversell, and then the mother of our kids are like, um, angry with us, and we're like, why are you so angry? Well, we're angry because we lied to her, right? And so we have these relationships, often with our own father, that's not going well. Oh, I'm okay with my dad. Guys will tell me, I'm okay with my dad. What do you mean? Well, I did some nine-step amends. I did some nine-step amends with my dad, and we're okay. So you spend time with your dad? Well, no, no, I don't. You know, we don't actually talk, but you think you're okay with your own father because you've done some amends. What I want to do in this whole idea of helping men to be great dads in recovery is to help them heal some relationships, not just make them okay, but to heal relationships with their own dads, to heal relationships with the mother of their children, no matter what either one of them have done or haven't done. And from that, we have a new foundation to be an amazing dad, you know. So anyway, there's all kinds of scenarios going on. I mean, I've talked to men where they don't have access to their kids, for one reason or another. They're trying to get access through the courts, right? And why could we possibly not have access to our kids? You know, and guys say, well, that bitch won't let me see them. Well, what went on? What have we not healed? If that's the case, you know, and so there's some damage has been done, and I want to help men to heal those damaged relationships so that they can have access to their kids, so they can have relationships with their kids. We've broken the trust, right? We've broken the trust. Now, here's the number one thing that men tell me when they're talking to me about the relationship with their children. Every single man says, I desperately want my kid not to have to go through what I went through. We want to break the chain in our family because it goes back often generations. We don't even know how far it goes back. Well, this alcoholism and addiction in the family. So how are you going to help your kid to break that chain if A, you can't spend time with them, or B, you don't have a relationship with them? So we're going to help you to build that relationship. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, we're going to do another 8-week program coming up soon. You need to talk to me, so we can get you. First of all, see if it's a fit for you. See if I don't want you to come into my 8-week program if it's not a fit for you. Right? So we're going to have like an interview. We're going to talk for maybe 45 minutes and find out where you're at with your relationships and where you're at with your recovery, and to see if this is a fit. And if it's a fit, then I guarantee you that you will get benefit. Really, it's my passion to help dads to become amazing dads. My story is that when my first daughter was born, quite a few years ago, I sobered up. I had to. It was like, holy shit. I don't recommend the women that are watching this that you go get pregnant in hopes that your guy will sober up. I'm a friggin' anomaly. It doesn't happen. And so I sobered up, and but I was the worst choice as a dad. Like, you couldn't have picked a better a worse choice. I don't know what she was thinking, but I was a good bullshitter, and so I thought maybe I could do the job, but I was, I didn't have an education. I hadn't been to school. I didn't go to high school. I was not a great pick, and I was 25, and I wasn't, I didn't have a regular job. I was riding my Harley, nothing wrong with that, but it was I was not a great pick, but somehow, by the grace of God, the years have gone by. I've got 3 kids now. They all love me and talk to me, like regularly. They call or I call them, and it works out really well. I've got 5 grandkids. Imagine. So I've got something to give away, and then I have 2 wonderful ex-wives, mothers of my children, that I have a relationship with. It's worked out. But it didn't just work out. I had to be there and heal those relationships, and because things did go sideways, it took me a while to grow up in recovery. And so my goal is to help dads wherever they're at. Really, the last course we went through, we had an older gentleman in our course, and who was estranged from 4 of his 5 boys. And during the course, he rebuilt those relationships. Not all of them, but he's working on them all. And some of them have improved a lot, and he wanted that. He was, he missed his boys, and he just didn't have he needed that push. And he's also, supporting now other dads in their journey as a result of it. And there's a big need out there for men to be available, dads in recovery to be available for other dads in recovery, because it's something we don't talk about. If you're in the rooms, right? If you're in the rooms, if you're in recovery, in a 12-step recovery, it's not, we don't talk about that so much. We talk about a lot of other things. There is a lot of information in the big book about the family after, and the information to the wives. There is a lot of content, but just this focus on how do I be an available, present dad, so that my kid, when she or he finds themselves, with an addictive nature, falling into that trap, and there's nothing we can do. It's going to happen if it's going to happen, but they need to be able to have us there to help them find a way out. And I'm very blessed that I have 2 kids in recovery, and it's like, okay, so I have the experience, and and I've been, my passion has been to share this with men that want it and need it. So this course, we're going to start again in the fall, early fall. So it's coming up fast. We'll the live program, we'll only have room for about 20 men. I think it'll fill up fast. And so that's it. Love you, and let's talk soon. Get in touch with me. Share this. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and comment. And Facebook, make a comment. Share it for me. Love you, love you, love you. Thanks. Talk soon. Bye.